Our friend Michael Saylor, friend of the channel. But this is Polo who asks if Strategy's capital structure still serves common shareholders. They notice stated 2.35% Bitcoin break-even ARR for the credit stack and wonder how we know scaling the financial structure isn't increasing fragility faster than it increases benefits to the common share. I love the question. And yeah, I've been analyzing this company since August 2020. Hard to believe. Nearly 5 years, over 5 years, 6 years. 6 years in August. God, time flies. Anywho, let's break it down. First of all, let's look at the MNAV history. And this is an interesting chart. Whenever MNAV is below 1, it's a good time to buy. Historically, it's not down there very much. Whenever MNAV is very spiky, we're talking north of 3x, 3.6x, 4x, 2.6x. That's a good time to do a little rotation into something else and then maybe rotate back. But if we zoom in to the actual change in MNAV over the last 12 months, you can see we were at 0.85 just a month ago. And it's, what is it, the 5th of May now? 3rd of May. May 2nd was 1.05. So the MNAV has gotten positive. So if they do issue ATM stocks, it means it's Satoshi accretive to your share. And I have shares from way back when. And I know that the amount of sats per share from the very first share that I bought to today has gone up 11x. And the price of Bitcoin's actually gone from 10K all the way up to 78,000 and change where we are right now. So that's the first part that's important to keep a look at. Second, enter ARK Invest. Now, they do a lot of Bitcoin analysis, and they came out with their Bitcoin price targets. Of course, there's a couple of things here that are interesting, but to understand the MicroStrategy bull case, we have to look at some price predictions for 2030. And 2030 is not very far away anymore. It's only 5 years. And here you can see, and again, before we go any further, when people put predictions together like 300,000 to 2.4 million in 5 years, that's a very large continuum. So just parking that there. What I did also is took their price targets, put them on a chart so you can see how they fit. So the bear case and the base case and the bull case, there's no overlap between. It's either far left, somewhere in the middle, far away from everything else, or far right. First thing. Second, I added return on investments, ROIs. So when you see a 285 ROI, call it 300%, that's like a 4x. So that's good, but you have to subtract your initial investment, which is 100%. So the return will be 385% minus 100% is 285. The bear case ROIs are 285 to 541, which is huge. And I'll show you CAGRs in a minute, which is what I really want to anchor on. Base case, 710K to 833K. A lot of people are thinking Bitcoin would be a million plus, 1.2, 1.5, 2 by 2030, but it's not too far away, and the price is very low. But the ROI would be 801% for the low end of the base case to 1,000% at the top end. And the craziness, the bull case, 1.5 million to 2.4 million. Remember, if we hit scarcity, if we hit a supply crunch, price discovery will be nutty. I mean, there could be $10,000, $50,000, $100,000 candles in a day. If somebody wants to buy this thing and they can't get any, the price makes narrative. And then that could cause the craziest of FOMO. We shall see. These are hypotheticals, but the beauty of Bitcoin is you can't print more. Now, what is important is the CAGRs, compound annual growth rates. CAGR. As you know from this channel, if you watch this channel, all you've heard about for 5 years is CAGRs. So the bear case is a 40% CAGR from where we are today. That's a 40% return per year. Worst case scenario per ARK Invest. Worst case. That is huge. My bear case CAGR for Tesla is 35%. And theirs is higher. so that's, and I believe, and I have said for many years now that I believe Tesla would outperform Bitcoin. I've been right so far. But anyway, that's the bear case second version, 59.1% CAGR. Also massive. Base case 710K, 73.7% CAGR from where we are today. Base case 833 is 80.8%. And then the 1.5 million is 109.4% CAGR. That is insane, off the hook, and up to 135%. Remember, if you're making even 40% on your money every year, those returns are massive. So putting all that aside, taking that into account when we look at MicroStrategy, they just need that 2.3% CAGR to make their credit stack math work. Now, this is what people underestimate, and I'll share it again. But now, Saylor was talking about theoretical yield, which is nice because he said the theoretical yield for things like real estate can't be above the return on real estate, which is typically 4% per year. And look at money, look at other things. Think of that as your theoretical yield. But the theoretical yield for Bitcoin, like we just discovered, could be a lot higher. Now, if he commits to pay STRC, STRK investors, say 11% to 11.5% yield, all they need is that 2.3%, which you calculated correctly. And that keeps the product very safe. But the key is the accrual to the shareholder, the juice that they get from the squeeze, is if the CAGR is higher than that 2.3% to pay that 11.5% yield. All the rest are credits to the shareholders. So, for example, if Bitcoin is a 30% year, the MicroStrategy shareholders do very well. They get 19% for them, less the 11%, hypothetically. Even less, because the amount of STRC and the credit stack is a small fraction of the overall market cap so far. But if they go crazy, it could get different. Now, these are the risks and the reward of this. So if they do borrow billions to buy Bitcoin and Bitcoin skyrockets, shareholders don't have to worry about a thing. If ARK is even half right with their CAGRs, we are going to be fine, my friends. We are going to be fine. However, the risk, the fragility of this whole trade is debt is unforgiving. If the price of Bitcoin does tank down to 20K or falls 50% from here, and it stays flat for a few years, the company still owes that $1.5 billion a year to its lenders. And then they could be forced down the line, maybe 3-4 years from now, to even sell some Bitcoin. So it's really a question of how and what the price of Bitcoin will do. I remain confident. We just have to be patient and watch this space. So super exciting either way. Thank you for the question.